Hello, it is Thursday, September 23rd, 2021. I'm Chris Remo, and welcome back to the New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. It is a Thursday puzzle, perhaps the first tricky puzzle of the week, as I often say. There might be some kind of clever theme or gimmick or mechanic in this puzzle. And I don't think there was much to address from yesterday's Wednesday puzzle, which I found to be a fairly smooth solve, and I think many of you found to be a fairly smooth solve, which may bode ill for today's puzzle because sometimes those things tend to average each other out. So you never know. But I'm going to move right on ahead to the puzzle because I don't think there's anything else to address just now. So I'm ready to get started. Okay. Here we have proto-smartphones in brief. Here's a word that crossword constructors are fond of that we haven't seen in maybe a couple weeks. PDAs, personal digital assistants, I think. The Palm Pilot, things like that, no longer really in use. It may be flipped in anger with the bird. You might flip someone the bird. A companion in Arabic. Not sure offhand, but let's check some crosses since we have PDAs and bird in there. So a gym. I don't know. Burr, famously, a duelist. Aaron Burr dueled with Alexander Hamilton and killed him. Maybe not a duelist, but a dueler. A genetic variant. Not sure offhand. Something that's no good unless it's closed. And then here we have performance traditionally accompanied by the ipu heke, double gourd drum. That looks like something Polynesian, maybe? Here we have blubbers. It could be blubbers meaning what? Whale fat, but more likely a verb meaning to sort of sob messily. Could be balls. Some safe harbors. Inlets, maybe? An inlet could be a safe harbor. Electronics company that founded NBC. I don't know. It's not RKO, is it? That came up yesterday. I don't know. Could be. Type of socialite officially discontinued in the UK in 2058. I wonder if UK, United Kingdom being abbreviated, suggests this might be an abbreviation. It could be Deb for, what, debutante? I don't know. Not very certain of that. Marley of Marley and Me, for one. I actually don't really know what Marley and Me is. I've heard of it, but I'm not sure. Let's go back and check these acrosses again. So we have 16 protein building acid type, an amino acid, I would think. And then unbending. Could be stoic or rigid. Rigid would be more accurate, I suppose. Oh, it's a rap. Could be a sorry. That came up this week. In fact, with a different clue, of course. A Mexican ally. Could be an amigo, right? Or an amiga. Could be masculine or feminine. Oh, and here's another. It's a rap. So if it were amigo, it could be an obi, Japanese sort of belt wrap thing. And here we have a dash. So this is most likely part of the theme. So it could mean, sometimes that means that the answer continues on from the previous clue. Sometimes that means that. So it could be a continuation of 19 across. Insomniacs have them. I want this IG to be night related to insomniac, but that could be really grasping at straws. Insomniacs have them. This dueler this L looks sort of weird there. Oh, unbending rigid, indeed. Okay, there we go. Gym figures for short. Could be bods, could be your bod, your figure. Oh, companion in Arabic, sahib. There we go. Flashy car feature, high beam. Very flashy, bright beam. A new member would be an initiate. Yeah, so this does look like, doesn't this look like knights? related to insomniacs have them. Troubled nights, maybe? That would make doula wrong. Would that work? Something's good. So if this were somehow the D and there's an N that's missing, the D and the N could somehow be missing. That could be it. Oh, or maybe sleepless nights. Because then the number of black squares would actually match the number of missing letters if it were sleepless nights. And that's sleepless is better than troubled for insomniacs. What was this? Something that's no good unless it's closed. Oh, a safe. Right. And then low down. Oh, the dope. You might call the dope the skinny, the information in a sort of slangy way. Okay, so let's see. Marley of Marley and Me, for one. I just don't know anything about that book, I guess, movie. Okay. Right, so this could be Dueler again. That was silly to. Okay, so let's see. Oh, a hula dance. Right, okay, so it is something Polynesian. And then, oh, it's not RKO, RCA, I suppose, electronic company that founded NBC. I had no idea that was the case. But certainly I've heard of RCA. Gym. Oh, physio, maybe? For gym, so not the place itself, but sort of the act of gymnastics, or not gymnastics, but the sort of physical activity one does in a gym. Okay, so genetic variant. Alt. Why am I not seeing what this is? A pelican gulper is a type of one. Oh, it's not physio, it's phys ed, physical education. There we go. And then a pelican gulper is a type of eel, presumably. Oh, and a genetic variant is an allele. Yes, I sort of vaguely remember that from biology, I guess. Yeah, I couldn't explain it to you right now if I had to, unfortunately, but I'm sure someone will in the comments. So this looks odd. What does this mean? I must have something wrong. What is this all doing? Oh, yellow lab. Must be a dog. Oh, something that's no good unless it's closed. A sail. Wow. Very clever. You could do one of those, you could do a sort of quantum puzzle thing where this answer made sense whether this were safe or sail, because it's actually incredibly plausible either way. So a sail is only good when it's closed. You close the sail, you make the sail. Excellent bit of misdirection there from Simeon Siegel. Oh, I don't know that I credited this puzzle. This is a Thursday puzzle, of course, by Simeon Siegel, edited as always by Will Shorts. There we go, got that in late. Better late than never. Okay, parts of essential oils, esters. That's just one of those things that comes up sometimes. Didn't win or lose, we drew a tie. Eye ailments, you could have a sty in your eye. Evian, for example, I see. Evian, par exemple, is French for example, and Evian is a water, and in French, water is O-E-A-U. Blank Enterprise, the USS Enterprise, of which these are the adventures or the voyages. Blue Angels, EGs. The Blue Angels are fighter planes. Well, actually, I don't know if Blue Angels refers to the planes or the pilots of the planes, actually. Yeah, I'm not sure. Flight tracker info could be ETA or ETD, estimated time of arrival or estimated time of departure. Alternative to white, it could be white bread, and alternative to white bread, rye bread. Peons could be serfs, people who toil at the lowest level of the, I don't know, I guess often in medieval society, but certainly serfs continued in some countries much longer than that. Casino next to the Venetian in Vegas. I don't know. 2018 sci-fi prequel. 2018 sci-fi prequel. Oh, Solo, I suppose. The Star Wars one. I didn't see that one. It's funny to think of that as a Star Wars. I guess it is a 2018 sci-fi prequel. Okay, Anderson Cooper to Gloria Vanderbilt. Son, I guess. Wow. Didn't know that. The Vanderbilt's a very famous, wealthy American family. Oh, and here we go. Here we have another theme answer. So let's look over here. Failing spectacularly. Going down in flames must be up in flames, because down in flames wouldn't fit if we're assuming that the way this theme works is that these black squares are sort of censoring some letters here. So we could have the P in the first of these black squares, the in the second and third, and then flames, going up in flames. For, what was the clue again? Failing spectacularly. Yes, exactly. So like Supreme Court hearings with N or on. I'm not sure. But the Blue Angels, this looks like aerobats, people who perform spectacular aeronautical maneuvers. So Blue Angels must refer to the pilots rather than the airplanes. Okay, food item that may be candied. Candied yams? Yeah, I don't know that I've had candied yams, but I've certainly heard of it. Maybe I have. Are you giving me no choice? Must I? Must I solve the Supreme Court clue? Well, maybe not. I could get it with crosses. Range on a game box. Ages, I suppose. Sometimes on a board game, you'll be given an age range, appropriate age range. To shut up. In 3 letters, I would want that to be sort of damn, to dam something up. Well, maybe that's not ideal either. I don't know. Why am I not seeing that? Let's keep going. For all to see. Out in the open, maybe? No. Open wide? Open is sort of odd for that. I'm not crazy about it. Colonies construct them. This isn't one of those, is it? No. Just double checking. Colonies construct them. I mean, I think the most obvious meaning of colony would be a colony that a government imposes somewhere else, but especially on a Thursday, it could be something less obvious, like an ant colony or something like that. But I'm not sure yet, so let's keep going. Network operated by the U.S. Space Force. Oh, interesting. I wonder if this is a new thing constructed by the Space Force, which is only a few years old, or something that was pre-existing, that was taken over by the Space Force. I don't know in either case. Part of a bar line. A bar line. I mean, it could be a graph of some kind, but it could be a line at a bar. Oh, a stein, maybe? Maybe on a bar you'd have a row of steins lined up, so part of it is a single stein, a beer stein, maybe? Titular vampire in Anne Wright's novels. Oh, maybe this isn't stein. Maybe stall, maybe row of stalls in a toilet? I don't know. But this, somehow I seem to remember this as Lestat. I think, but it says titular vampire. So were there books named after Lestat? Probably. I haven't read any of them. I've seen a little bit of the film Interview with a Vampire, which I think is based on those books. Let's see. Like mortgagers. In debt, perhaps? If one has a mortgage, one is in debt. Enterprise voyage. It could be a trek. So look at that. We've got the USS Enterprise and then the Enterprise voyage, a single one of which is a trek, a Star Trek. Something that might come up after a big meal. A belly, maybe? Adam and Eve's I don't know. No, I don't think it's belly. Was Seth Adam and Eve's third child? Was that right? Let's put the crosses in and see. Network supported by viewers like you. Well, that's PBS, the public broadcasting system in the United States. And then here we have blank miss of the NCAA, which is sports. Here we have symbols often accompanying the phrase legalize it. Pot leaves, I assume. And then here we have, here is, I think, our revealer. The first revealer we've seen in a puzzle since a very kind viewer informed me that this particular kind of clue is called a revealer. This is the type of clue that I used to call the explanatory theme clue and answer, which is that it explains what's going on with the theme of the puzzle. And as we know, according to another viewer, Lyle, and as coined in Lyle's Law, this answer, the revealer, tends to be found towards the bottom of the grid on the right side in the acrosses, as indeed it is here. So let's read it. Redacts as sensitive information, suggested by 3 of this puzzle's answers. Ah, yes, so blacks out. If you black out text on a page, you redact it, you cover it in black, and we've done just that in a few of these clues and answers. Insomniacs have them, sleepless nights, the SNI are redacted. Here we have going up in flames, the pin is redacted there. So let's see, what else do we have? We have members of a wartime skywatching corps. And is that it? I think that might be it. Yeah, so we've got those 3. Okay, let's see. Actress Hagen with 3 Tonys. I think Uta Hagen rings a bell to me. Let's check that. Parts of a Spanish omelet would be huevos, eggs. Father-in-law of Helen of Troy. Atreus, what is this? Get red in the face. Get red in the face. What is that? Target with a toss could be passed to. You could pass someone a ball. Standard Oil offshoot. This is a funny one. The answer is actually kind of in the clue, I think, because if you consider the abbreviation for Standard Oil, it's SO. And if you turn that phonetically into a word, it would be ESSO, SO. So there you go. Then what is this? Oh, something that might come up after a big meal. I see, a belch. A little more rude than what I had in there. And then here we have a container whose name is pronounced with either a long A or an A vase or a vase. There we go. And then here we have, right, so here's our other theme answer. Servers, perhaps? Members of a wartime skywatching corps. So these are people who are maybe on the lookout for enemy aircraft, perhaps? I don't know what the name of those people is. Well, if we get red in the face, we might chap. Might have chapped lips, for instance. And then what was this? Oh, like Supreme Court hearings with en banc. That looks legitimate, looks French. The C makes that look French. I don't know what this legal terminology is, to be honest with you. I have to look it up later, or someone will tell me in the comments, which is always so handy. Okay. A whole lot could be a ton. Part of a bar line, a stool. There we go. That makes more sense. To cover some ground could be sod, to lay down a layer of sod. Colonies construct them. I was going to say conquest, but that doesn't fit. Not sure. Why am I not seeing? It's having sort of a funny bit of trouble down in this corner. Off the wall could be, I don't know, gonzo. That's probably too far afield. What starts with Janeiro in Rio? That's January, presumably, in Brazilian. How do you say year in Portuguese? Sorry, not Brazilian. In Brazilian Portuguese, I guess, is the language spoken in Brazil. I mean, año is in Spanish, but I have no idea if it's the same in Portuguese. I mean, if that were an O, off the wall could be outre, maybe? Sort of going out on a limb here because I'm building on something I'm not confident in. A frothy order could be a latte. You have milk froth. Seriously fancy, and then fainted on the ice. Well, it could end in a D. And if you do have to have something, you do need it. So, yeah, that could all work. Yeah, I'm running out of steam down here. And I just don't know if these things are correct here. I'm not confident. Response to rule breaking. Oh, this looks like win now. WYNN. This just seems like what that must be, the name. So colonies construct them. Oh, bee nests, ant nests, some kind of what sorts of insects construct colonies? This shut up is sort of surprising. I don't. It feels as though I should be able to get it, so I apologize if you yourself are doing so. So if it's shut up something you do, it could be something you do not to a wall, but to a person. You could shut up a person. You could gag them. There we go. Okay, so if that's gag, network operated by the U.S. Space Force. No. So maybe this is ant nests. Would you call them I don't think of nests being associated with ants, but I don't know anything about ants, so maybe it is. For all to see. On display, maybe? Really just don't know about this Anya. Response to rule breaking. It's not fair. No, it's. Oh, GPS, global positioning satellite. That must be it, right? Okay, so it is a pre-existing thing that was transferred to the U.S. Space Force, which makes sense because Space Force hasn't been around very long. Okay, so for all to see would be on parade. There we go. It's not on, maybe? It's response to rule breaking. You might say that's not on. That could be it. And then, ground. Members of a wartime skywatching corps. Ground. Oh, ground reservers? Does that make sense? I don't really know. I'm not going to fill that in until I have everything else here. So seriously fancy. Oh, I see. It's a verb. To seriously fancy something or someone is to adore them. And then fainted on the ice. Oh, I don't think this is it's not on because that looks weird. What is this down? Hefty rival. Oh, hefty is in the US anyway. I don't know how international this is. Big trash bags and things. And the rival of that, I think, is glad bags. All right. So this could be it's not okay. And then fainted on the ice would be deked, which I think that rings a bell. You sort of dodge things. And then this could be ground observers, right? I think that makes sense. Members of a war, yeah, they observe. So that's ground observers. And then this is indeed Atreus. Okay, I should have been more confident. There we go. All right. There is the Thursday puzzle. So, oh yeah, and here we go. So, oh wow, look at this. They've filled in the letters. And then, this is actually more clever than I gave it credit for, I think, because the three redacted groups of letters, SSN, PIN, and DOB, are initialisms and acronyms for bits of personal sensitive information that for instance, I don't know, a web form or something like that, they might be redacted. Maybe not date of birth so much, but SSN in the United States is your social security number, which is a government identification number. PIN is your personal identification number, as I'm sure you all know, which you use to access a cash machine. And your DOB, of course, is your date of birth. So this is all personally identifying information, I guess, that might need to be kept secret. And in this puzzle, therefore, it has been redacted. Very clever. So we have sleepless nights, going up in flames, and ground observers that are obscuring our sensitive information, which has been blacked out. So there we go. That is the puzzle by Simeon Siegel, a Thursday puzzle. Actually not as tricky as maybe it could have been, but definitely gave me some pretty strong bits of resistance over here. This Año being Portuguese rather than Spanish was interesting because it obviously wasn't a new piece of knowledge. In other words, it ended up being the word I already knew, shared between the two languages, but it made me not very confident of it, which I think increased the level of challenge for me anyway in this southwestern corner over here. But in general, I think this was a relatively smooth solve. I am curious to know how you fared with it. Ground observers took me a while. The other two theme clues a bit easier. And in fact, Sleepless Nights was the one that that tipped me off to what was going on. And I think it was really this IG, starting with an IG. And I mentioned this in the puzzle, but I'm going to reemphasize it because this isn't the kind of thing that would be obvious to you, I think, if you haven't solved quite a few of these puzzles. But when you see this big dash, this is, I think, an M dash. By the way, if you ever wondered why dashes can be called N dash or M dashes, it's because they're the width of a capital N or M. That's actually what that refers to in typography. Anyway, so yes, when you see that, sometimes, so generally speaking, that means that the clue is not given because the clue has already been given to you in some other form. You just need to understand the theme in order to unpick it. So in this case, 20 across doesn't have a clue because in fact we already do have the clue, which is insomniacs have them. We just need to figure out how that clue applies to the 20 across cells. And when I saw that IG and it had this dash, I mean, it could have, or maybe it was GH, I can't remember. I mean, IG, I guess, could be igloo. There was something in here that made me think, I think it was IG, that this is sort of an odd way to start a word, which might be fine. It could start with igloo or something like that. But with that dash, probably something's going on. So it's something to look out for. And the thing I was going to say is that sometimes that in itself can be subverted. And sometimes you'll end up with a dash clue that in fact means dash, and that's the answer, and you have to fill in dash, or it means something else, and it's not being used in this way. But vast majority of the time, when you see that, you should be on the lookout for the clue somewhere else, usually nearby. It's often something like it will continue on, or something like it could continue on from 9 down and take a 90-degree turn at the 20 across square and then continue. So that's another way that these dashes can be used. So just a tip. And Thursday is the day on which this sort of thing is most common. As I've said before, Thursday tends to be the cleverest theme day. So the day where we don't just have a theme that ties some clues and answers together, we have a theme that actually involves some kind of strange mechanical quirk that we've got to figure out in order to be able to solve the puzzle. So something to keep in mind. Anyway, again, do let me know how you fared with the puzzle. And I hope you've been enjoying this series. Generally, if you have, please do subscribe. There's a subscribe button, obviously, associated with each video, and then that will allow you to better be aware of these videos as they go up each morning, which they do. And if you think you know someone who might like to be accompanied by these videos each morning, please pass this along, either in person or through some kind of online network or place you reside on the internet. I would very much appreciate it. And I think yesterday I erroneously referred to a Kickstarter going up on Friday. That's definitely not the case. I did a Kickstarter last year for an album of mine, and that was more than enough Kickstarter for the near future for me, I think. But I am intending to launch a Patreon campaign tomorrow, which is what I meant to reference. So hopefully keep a lookout for that. And with that, I will let you go. I hope you do join me tomorrow for the Friday puzzle, which is probably a little more straightforward than this one, but also maybe a little more difficult. We'll just have to see. That's usually how it goes. Until that point, please do have an excellent rest of your Thursday. Take care.